What's going on, Stan? Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, man, huge congratulations. What a deal. I mean, you're a relative fresh face here in the pro mod world, but you already found your way to the winner's circle. Congratulations.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. It's been a long road for us. We started this journey about 3 years ago, and Mike Kopchak started helping us. Russell Miller helped us at Darlington. We baby steps to get where we're at today. And definitely, man, this is a deep pool. I like the article you had this week where like 150 pro mods have been running down in the last several, events and stuff. And there's no better competition than this. Just because you buy a car and you buy the parts, man, it means nothing. You know what? I mean, it is a steep hill to climb, and we're excited about this past weekend hanging out with my new best friend. That was really exciting for us this weekend, and to make that journey out to Tulsa. Keith Haney's doing a fantastic job with the Midwest Series. We like the fact that there's pro mod racers controlling some of these series. Tommy Franklin's PDRA, Keith Haney's running pro mod in Midwest, and we're just excited. Those guys are. I don't know how to explain the depth of the class. I mean, there is no, we went out and we struggled a little bit off the trailer in Tulsa. Petty got us straightened out, and we went through eliminations and did well. But then, that was the Memphis race. So, I mean, we just won the Memphis race at like 2 o'clock. So we reset ourselves to go out for the Tulsa race at 4 o'clock, and Ronnie Hall puts us on the trailer. You know what? And that's just how steep and how great the competition is. We're excited about being a part of it. We love competition. We love the camaraderie, and what we're seeing about the class is everybody's pulling the rope. Everybody's pushing it forward.
I tend to agree, man. Do you think how important, one of the cool things that I feel like we've seen from your particular operation is your willingness to go a variety of places, right? Go to the Midwest Drag Racing Series event, go to a PDRA race, go to a big outlaw event, or show up at the newly renamed Fuel Tech NHRA Pro Mod Drag Racing series presented by D-Wagon. How much of a motivator is that for you as a team owner and a racer to go into a new endeavor? And I would like to touch on your tractor pulling background here momentarily, but how important was it to you to have all those opportunities?
Well, we felt like it was a necessity because we lack the knowledge. We understand the motor from the tractor pulling background. We can rebuild the motor and put it back together, no issue, but everything from the firewall back on a pro mod is, it's something else. So we're trying to run as many events as we can, so we can get the knowledge of the class. Whether we're running 8th mile, whether we're running a quarter mile, that's what we're trying to do, is get as much knowledge as we can.
Tell me real quick, I would like to, obviously talk about the big win, but seeing you at the NHRA Pro Mod National event here a few weeks ago out in Charlotte, I believe that was your first experience in the NHRA world. Could you kind of take us through that and what that experience was like, and did you ever think you'd see yourself out there running on the same track that John Force is out there and Ron Capps and all these guys? Tony Stewart is walking around. Was that especially exciting for you?
That was very exciting for us. We always been drag racing fans, even though we're trucking tractor pull. We'd go to Charlotte, watch the races, and think about maybe that could be us one day out there doing the same thing. And that was a very surreal situation for us to be able to go out there and do that. And I feel like in NHRA, on the outsider looking in, everybody's kind of riding John Force's coattails to a certain extent. But I went to a meeting of pro mods out there, and we were there that week, and you got a lot of it was fantastic. The meeting was tremendous. You got a whole lot of business individuals or pro mod guys, or you could be a huge amount of egos in that room, but all those egos turned into one. And with this situation they got moving forward with Fuel Tech behind that, Doug Winters has got D-Wagon coming on. They got a lot of, I think we're at coming forward at a fantastic time, because they got a tremendous amount of momentum. You got all these guys pulling. In that one room, everybody was together. Everyone was united. And you would think there'd be so many different egos in there that everybody's thinking about themselves. Of course, we're all going to think about ourselves when we get to the starting line, but in that meeting, everybody's about moving pro mod forward. And I think it's got a lot of momentum right now.
I honestly think that's what it takes. Having a group of people that are all swimming in the same direction and share a common vision or a common goal.
Yeah.
it will no doubt make a difference and change the trajectory that the NHRA Pro Mod Series has been on the last few years. I think there was a lot of us that were genuinely concerned that does this deal have uh, much runway left? What's going to happen next? And it has been the effort of this incredible group of people that has got this deal headed in the right direction. I'm excited about it as well, and it's cool. After that four wide experience, Stan, do you feel like you may be enticed to do a little bit more NHRA racing, or what's your plans for the future?
We'd like to. We tried to. It took a good bit to convert that car to NHR trim. To start with, we were really excited about it. They gave us an opportunity to use our screw block and to make some changes to the car to where we could compete. In our back door in Charlotte. We're going to go to Virginia this weekend. We hope the weather gets. We understand we got weather situations anywhere you go, but we're going to go to Virginia, maybe go to Norwalk, just trying to get our feet wet. We like there's professionalism in all categories, Midwest, PDRA, NHRA, but then, NHRA does bring a certain platform that we like about how they run their schedule and stuff like that we'd like to do a little bit more of that. But very exciting running quarter mile. Man, it's, I'm OCD or ACD or whatever you want to call it. And whether I keep my attention span for 3.5 seconds, but for 6 seconds, boys, getting it down there, I'm telling you.
Can you compare and contrast a little bit for us? Because this is something like I grew up in an auto repair shop, and a lot of my dad's in a farming community in Northeast Missouri, and a lot of my dad's customers were farmers that would dabble in truck and tractor pulling, right? And I would always they'd build me. My dad would build them a big block Chevy or something that was, sometimes fairly radical stuff, but also like cast intake stuff for some of the really limited truck categories. But I'm just curious. I always scratched my head about how they were okay with making one pull, right? They would go to an event. I remember the handful of times I went and we would go to help someone and we'd make one pull. And if you were going to make a couple of licks, if you're going to have a couple of shots at it, it was because you entered multiple classes. Is there any sort of like additional value to the drag racing experience just because you get to run your stuff a lot more?
There certainly is. When we would have drag racing friends come to the tractor pulls with us, they were like, dude, you're only making one pass tonight? And I'm like, yeah, and let's run a pull off, and that's where so critical in pulling, you got to, all your variables, whether it's 10 variables, track condition, weight, horsepower, atmospheric condition, you got to get it right in one shot. Where drag racing is, we probably love qualifying day as a family as much as we do anything, because we go back up there 4 times or 3 times. You're going up there, everybody's getting excited, going to the line, making a pass, come back, working on the car, redo it again, go back up there again. So that excitement definitely in drag racing is dicing for us. We still love pulling, and there's a tremendous thrill for us in pulling, but we do see how our drag racing friends, where they're coming from now, and they used to say, man, you're just making one pass, and we get to make a lot of them in drag racing, and it is very exciting.
I like things about, there are certain parts of the truck and tractor pulling world that I think are interesting. The fact that the truck or tractor goes out there all by its lonesome. I do think that there's something cool about that. We experienced that a little bit at our World Series of Pro Mod back in 2017, the first year we did that event out on Thunder Mountain in Bandimere, Colorado, or Bandimere Speedway in Denver, Colorado. We ran all of our test passes, our shakedowns is what we called them, as singles, because as many know, that race was run without the scoreboards on. So no one knew what anybody was running. And I couldn't let cars run side by side, right? And gauge how they were running or what have you. So we made everybody run singles. And at first we were like, oh, is this going to detract from our show? But where I really landed at on that particular situation was, man, you get to hear the car, you get to hear it shift gears, you get to hit the turbo car, squalling the tires down through there. And I see that, right, in truck and tractor pulling, where you get to go out there by yourself and be the center of attention. Is that something that, is that a special, I can't imagine that experience, especially at some of those big tractor pulling events where there's people everywhere and it's just you out there.
Yeah, tractor pulling draws a tremendous crowd everywhere we go, really. The demographic market's really the same for drag racing. They're the same type of people. It's just a matter of the truck and tractor pull is more contained, I guess you would say. We're on a 300-foot track where you really get to see the start and the finish, where you can in a drag race if you're sitting towards the end, but it's just more of a contained environment right there, so you get more of the feel of it. I like what you were talking about, that particular drag race, because in Pro Mod you got the nitrous cars, screw cars, pro charger cars, turbo cars, so you could hear that that turbo car probably spooling up a whole lot better and jumping on the line a little bit versus you could if it was sitting there running beside a screw blower or something. But same aspects, again, same demographic markets, same people. When we go to tractor pulls, people are asking about us, our pro mod drag races. And when we go drag races, people will come by and say, hey, man, we love watching tractor pulls. So we're hopefully getting both and bringing them two together.
Man, that I was just thinking, like, it'd be cool to just see that stuff. How different is the maintenance program? I can't imagine the wear and tear, the load those truck and tractor pulls, those tractors that you run the unlimited division with, what, 36 blown Hemis out front?
Well, they're most time in tractor pulling, we're trying to match. We don't want to work on the motors, just like we don't want to work on if we have to in pro mod. But we're trying to match the power to the gear ratio. In our class, we're running 871s, 4 with 871s. An 871 blower won't make but so much compression down below to push bearings out and do stuff like that. Of course, you can lean the motor down and really you can hurt it, but it's not what we're about. We're about consistency in the truck and tractor pull. We do routine maintenance every day, running valves, same things we do between rounds and drag racing. It's just a matter of drag racing. We're going to use a set of rods, 20 or 25 passes in 2 weekends in drag racing, and that's going to last us all year in pulling. So especially with the part supply issues that we all have, we're all dealing with pistons, rods, valves. Seem like the tougher things to get for everybody. Everybody's trying to make and manage their parts as best they can.
Stan, being new to drag racing and kind of diving in with Pro Mod here, I've noticed that on the tree, you've just been mowing down the tree everywhere you've been in 2 different cars. What do you attribute that to? Is any of that from, your decades of tractor pull experience, or what have you been doing to sort of get yourself ready on the tree?
Well, I try to do my own homework. I've got a practice tree, and I try to sit in the car and get that aspect and get yourself in that zone. And have some good friends. John Strickland, when I first got into the sport, he gave me some pointers about how you can slow yourself down and do different things by how you hold your hand or if you grip the wheel and do little things, stuff you don't think about, especially me coming into the sport. I'm like, man, you got to come off the button. But a lot of little tricks a lot of guys do. We try to keep it pretty simple, in the car, but we've just been real fortunate. I think what's helped me most recently is that we have Steve Petty has done a fantastic job of getting our car where it's making laps down the track on a consistent basis. And I think anytime a driver gets more comfortable and relaxed and knowing his car is probably going to go down the track,
that helps a lot.
It's helped me tremendously.
You see that a bunch. Like if you see a driver that has developed a confidence in his mount, right? The horse underneath him, when you trust that thing and you've got like what's the word? A synergistic relationship, like what it's going to do, the changes that you made, you've got a team that is meticulous and pays attention to detail. You can go up there and focus on doing your job and not just holding on for dear life or hoping something good happens and nothing bad happens. We, our editor-in-chief here at Drag Illustrated Magazine, Nate Van Wagenen, is in our little private chat green room here, and he's asking, are you going to participate with your truck and tractor or with your tractor pulling team in the big event that Norwalk is hosting this summer?
We are actually. Yep. The Baylor family has come on board. They were our bank, and we're excited about that. I think it's going to be the last the third weekend in July. They're having a tremendous event up there, so we'll be there with our 2 multi-engine tractors and our 3 mini rods. Certainly will.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear it.
Man, these guys, the Shelton family stays busy.
I was going to say,
Stan's operation, meeting all these guys, it's a family deal, and I think Stan put it very well. That how else can he get his 3 basically grown children, they're in their 20s, and his wife to hang out with him in a box for a weekend and do family stuff together. It's just kind of an old school deal. As far as what you guys are doing, going out there and having fun. So I think, you guys, it seems like a lot of work. I know you guys stay busy, but it's like, it's one of the last few times that before everyone's grown and have married and have kids and all this stuff that you're able to do this stuff with them.
Absolutely. Just like you and your dad, Mike, we had a great conversation when you came down to my shop, and it was a good time, good visit. It's all about a family for us. The Pro Mod car and the pulling vehicles is a reason for us all to be driven together. Luckily, the kids grew up interested in something motorsports. I married a wife that's very understanding, and she knew that it was something we were going to do as a family, and it kept our family together. And that's what's been the crucial thing. That Pro Mod car is our ticket for fun together, as well as the truck and tractors are as well. So we don't take it for granted. It takes a lot of hard work. We've got a lot of other people just outside of family that help us do this, and without them, we wouldn't be able to do it. We might have grown too big just a little bit in pulling there for a little while to be able to handle 2 haulers and do stuff like that. So we depend on family and friends to come and go with us, and we enjoy that part of it.
Has there been anything about the drag racing experience or the Pro Mod experience that has surprised you? Like coming from the polling background? No.
Not really, because again, I think all the people are cut out of the same cloth.
I agree. Yeah.
They all like horsepower. They all like loud, competition, and great camaraderie, just like in drag racing or Pro Mod. You get Pro Mod class. I mean, you get I kind of look at it as like if you look at a schoolyard, the Pro Mod guys are probably all the kids that you probably didn't want to mess with. You know what I mean? You get Stevie Jackson,
the bullies,
J.R. Gray, and Lyle Barnett. They're gonna talk you to death. They're gonna wear you out, telling you what they're gonna do to you. And they probably will 50% of the time. And then you get the guys like Jose and some of the other guys in that class on the NHRA side that are gonna be quiet and spoken, but they're gonna take your head off. When they get a chance. So that part of it, but yet everybody's got their own way, but everybody, when you come to competition, if you need a part, they're going to give it to you. I don't think anybody wants to get beat because you got the part in the trailer and the other guy didn't have it. We certainly don't want to. We want everybody to come up there. We want to race, and that's what we're all about.